Welcome to Bayloric TV and this edition of Inside Story. We ask the questions you want the answers to. And now our host, Ingram Jones.
Good evening and welcome to Bayloric TV. I'm your host Ingram Jones. On tonight we've got a very special guest. Chicago legend from the hip hop world, D.A. Smart. Like I've said many times, Bayloric TV is not just about boxing. It's about being a champion among many champions. And for me, one of the things that I enjoy about interviewing is meeting other champions. And I don't define champions of having belts around their waist, but people that I admire, people that I am interested to hear what they have to say. And I was very interested. I can't honestly say that I'm an expert in the hip hop world, but certainly D.A. Smart, the man from Chicago, had plenty to say and had lots to tell me about. You hear stuff in the entertainment industry about people selling their soul to the devil and contracts and all these sort of things. And I just wanted to know just a little bit more about it because I wasn't so sure. But D.A. Smart, listen to this interview. It's a bit special.
Good evening, D.A. Smart.
D.A. Smart, the Black Terror.
Thank you so much for talking to Bayloric TV. This is a first for me. Tell us who you are, because I sort of know who you are, but the fans won't know who you are in terms of the new fans. They won't know anything about who D.A. Smart is.
Okay. Bayloric TV, I want to introduce you to this person named D.A. Smart, which is me. That's me. I'm D.A. Smart. I'm from Chicago. I've been rapping some like 25 plus years.
Wow.
I'm 40 now, and I've been rapping since I was 12. So,
you're a veteran.
Right, definitely a veteran. Been around this hip hop game for a long time.
Wow.
Hailing from Chicago, the Mad Middle. It's like a consumer state for music. So a lot of rappers in Chicago are not as popular as rappers in New York or L.A., but we starting to get our shine nowadays. But other than that, I'm D.A. Smart. I'm a hip hop artist. I'm a writer. I'm a producer, a record company owner. I'm considered a legend in Chicago. I'm considered one of the coldest rap battlers ever. And I am the deepest when it's come to articulating the message of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in rhythmic form, according to the minister Louis Farrakhan. I'm the greatest rapper that he ever heard. So that's me, D.A. Smart, the Black Terror, hailing from Chicago. What's up, Bayloric TV?
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum salam.
So, tell me, oh God, I don't know where can I begin? What got you into hip hop? That'll be a great start. What got you into hip hop?
Okay. Well, when I was coming up and I was young, the popular star at the time was Michael Jackson.
Okay.
So, of course, I used to do the Michael Jackson. I used to wear his clothes, his gloves. I used to have the carefree curl.
Did you have the white socks?
Yes, of course, I had the socks and the and the floods, So, in order to do Michael Jackson, I even had the baby hair on the side of my face.
Oh, man.
So, being a dancer, Michael Jackson got a lot of his moves from breakdancing. A lot of the moonwalk is from breakdancing. It's street dancing. Pop locking is from street dancing. So from Michael Jackson, I was already into the pop locking. So I was pop locking, breakdancing. And that's one of the elements of hip hop as well. It's 5 elements of hip hop. You got the MC, the breakdancer, the DJ, the mic controller, and the b-boy. So the five elements of hip hop, I was a dancer first, and I wanted to be the ones that articulate the words in hip hop. So I definitely became one of the rappers, you know.
Wow.
So from that time, from Michael Jackson over to hip hop, I started to be a rapper, you know. That's how it started. It started because my friend was rapping, and he was like a best friend of mine. So you know how it is. We men, we we can't let nobody outdo us. So I started rapping, and when I first rapped, I never wrote a rap down. I always wanted to come off my top of my dome. Even raps that I had rehearsed, I never wrote them with pen and paper. I would rehearse them in my mind and take them to memory and create songs out of them. A couple of songs I had from back in the day, many moons ago in the 80s, was
They were good
Ghetto
times, the 80s,
Cry.
right?
Uh-huh.
The 80s were good times, right?
Oh, yes, 80s. I'm definitely. That was a good times. A couple of songs first songs I wrote was one called Ghetto Cry, and another one was called Fat Girl. So, you know, just to show you how far back we go, you know.
Yeah, fat girls, right. So, okay, from there, so you a youngster, you decided to get into rap, your fellow friends were there, and, you know, I guess there was back and forth between you, and there obviously must have been a crew that you were going back and forth. You couldn't just be going back and forth yourself in the mirror. So how did that go about, and how far does that go when you're going back and forth then as a young
Wow.
person?
Well, the crew name was DFC, Dynamic Force Crew,
Right.
the rap crew. That was the name of the crew. MC Rock, Kiddo, and DA Smart. It was three of us. This was in, let me see, it had to be in 84
Okay.
that this crew was formulated, that we started rapping. We used to rap about conscious things. We used to rap about things that went on around us. We used to rap about the projects. You know, like one of my raps went like, living in the ghetto is a pitfall, spray paint, graffiti on the brick wall. Gangbangers hanging out on the street while rappers like me be rocking to the beat. This is the story and it's not for play. Living in a dangerous life every day. Behind closed doors, there's a lot of strange things like prostitute girls at the age of 13. Some might steal and some might lie, but this is just a little story of the ghetto cry. You know, and that was one of the songs.
Wow.
That's actually the first song I ever wrote, you know.
Wow. I mean, even just that little taste, even not even a taste, it's. I could never attempt to do something like that. It's out of my league.
And this is 84, you know what I'm
Wow.
saying? So I was,
84.
yeah, so definitely I was a conscious rapper.
Okay.
I wanted to be conscious. I want to talk about where I came from, and I want to give a solution to the problems that was happening around me.
Okay, so the rap that you're talking about is very conscious and very heartfelt and constructive and making sense and just speaking very real. So between that and what is available today, what happened?
Well, you know, I think what happened is there must have been a secret meeting somewhere, because rap was beginning to wield influence over the ghettos in America, all over the ghettos in America, and even in white people homes, rap was wielding influence. And I think the problem that they had with rap is that it was conscious, is that it was revolutionary, is that it was uplifting black people, and that it was a message for us, by us, and, you know, unfiltered by them. So they had to do something to take control of it. It was getting popular, gaining popularity, and they didn't want it to gain popularity in that manner. So what they did is they threw money at it. They made it crossover. At first it was no rap, never had it, never will, on every radio station. They didn't like rap, and if R&B songs had a rap verse in it, they would play the R&B song without the rap verse in it. This is how anti-rap the country was.
Wow.
But like any controversy, anything you talk about that's negative and you try to put down, it seemed like the people pick it up. And people was picking up, huh?
Controversy sells.
Exactly. So people was picking it up. People was listening to hip hop. They was getting the information, and hip hop was spreading. So I guess, from my understanding, the powers that be said, if we can't control the popularity of rap, then maybe we can influence it. So they stopped putting a lot of money behind a lot of gangster rap. And in the mid-90s, in the 80s and the early 90s, rap was real pro-black and revolutionary and informative to black people. But in the mid-90s, they made a decision to change the course of rap by putting money behind a lot of gangster rap and negative images from the hood, and not the positive pro-black uplifting our women message, more like the put our women down. We not pro-black. We don't care. We don't love niggas. And you had groups like NWA, Too Short, come out of the East Coast. You had the Ice Cubes, Too Shorts, Ice T's. Then these people got popular. And I think that shifted rap on a course to where it ends up today. It's on a course of discourse. It's on a course of negativity. It's on a course of death, destruction,
confusion,
and it's only feeding the prison complex that they got set up for black people today. That's all it's doing, is feeding the prison complex, the funeral homes, giving white people jobs to watch us and warehouse us, and giving the government more money because they make money long as we locked up in their system. So, I think it's all part of a plan to keep the black man down. To be honest, that's all it is. I mean, a lot of people want to frivolize that and think that that's not true, and think that this is something that we did on our own, but it's impossible when we don't have the money or the connections to all of the media outlets and to all of the radio station, TV, and movie platforms. We don't have the connections to put ourselves on those platforms. So they put us on those platforms, and they only choose to use the negative image of us to put on those platforms, and not the good images that the whole purpose of hip hop was started for.
So when did you get your first break?
You know what? To be honest with you, brother, I never got a break. I'm popular because of my work, because people like my stuff. People like my flow, because I'm unyielding and uncompromising, and because I never signed a contract and had a record deal and sold out to the mainstream. I think that's why I'm popular, and I'm not popular above ground. I'm one of what you would call an underground rapper that's popular in Chicago and throughout the United States, because I refuse to sign with the devil. You know what I mean? I have had many offers, many contracts. A lot of them I turned down because of what they asked me to do. And
can I stop you there? You say to sign with the devil. It's a term very often used in hip hop or entertainment. I'm what's the word? Tell me more about this. Explain to me more about it.
Okay, it's basic. It's a contract. When you sign with a record label, you sign a contract. The contract entails your agreement with this record label. And basically, they give you creative control to create the music that you like. But at the end of the day, they have the final say-so on what they release on their record label. and that is in your contract. Yeah, you can make what you want, but we have to agree on the final decision of what's being released from this record company.
Okay.
So, like rappers like Lupe Fiasco had to protest to get his record released. Lasers, I believe, was the name of it, and that's because it was so conscious and politically incorrect, according to them, that they didn't want to release that type of music. So he had to create a clamor around the release of his album in order to force the record label to release it. Otherwise, they would use their power of attorney to not to release it, and when nobody never would have heard of it. But on this record, he's talking about the president of the United States, Obama. On this record, he's talking about the plans of, quote unquote, the man to keep us down, black people. And, this is not the type of record that they want to release. So him being the artist he is, what else he going to do? So he brought attention to the fact that they released the record. They still didn't promote it. They didn't put the marketing dollars behind it, but he got loyal fans. So I guess they supported him. This is what I mean. The record company owns you when you sign a record label. When you sign to a record label, they own your name. They own your image. They own what you say. They own how you say it. And if you say it in any way that they don't agree with, they can cut you off. They could disconnect you from people. They can make you pay for it, so to speak. That'll be a breach of contract, and they could sue you.
So almost, in a nutshell, a slave.
Basically, that's what you are.
Okay, but a young person will say to themselves, you know what? There's no such thing as to sell myself to the devil unknowingly. And, all I want is money. Look at them. Look at all those rappers out there, all the rappers that are possibly out there. I could get that bling bling. I could get this. I could be a hip hop artist just like them. I can rap. I can do this. I can do that. I just need a break. And once I get a break and I get a big contract, I'm fine. I'm done. All I want is money. I don't care if they take my stuff. I don't care if they take my stuff. At the end of the day, I'm a rapper. That's all I'm going to be. And I'm going to make loads of money and bling bling bling. And surely that's got to be the mentality of so many, and so many you would get caught. I can only assume. I don't know, because it's not my industry. I can just guess. Tell me if I'm talking rubbish.
Yes. Well, a lot of rappers today feel that way. Hey, I'm just a rapper. I just want to be a star. And that's what they do. They sign their name on a contract. And once they mature in their job, they will understand that they have no control over what they do. They have no control. And when they try to exercise control after it's too late, then the repercussions are brought down upon them. And it might end up in a rapper being dead and no one figured out who killed him. It might end up in you got locked up because you had drugs, now you got life, or something might go wrong if you rebel against the powers. I mean, rappers today don't really know why hip-hop was even started, because they've been disconnected. The people that's growing up today and becoming rappers are in love with the stars of today, the ones that were made corrupted, that signed deals, that are put out under these contracts that are favorable to the record company. So they don't really know real hip hoppers. They don't know who KRS-One is. They don't know who Just Ice is. They don't know who D.A. Smart is. They don't know who these rappers are that paved the way for hip hop. And they don't really know the true meaning of hip hop, because hip hop is not just making money. It ain't about just making money. Hip hop was a culture that was created for the downtrodden, the people that didn't have a way to make a way. And that was our music of revolution. And now that it's taken and turned into some pop or commercial thing without any message or content to it, it really ain't even hip hop no more. It's what it is, rap.
I can only bring a sort of parallel because I love boxing. I'm a big boxing fan, and as you know, you've watched some of my boxing videos, you know a lot of the interviews I've done with boxers, and The only thing I can kind of relate it to is back in the day where you had Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier and Ken Norton and Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard and Sugar Ray Robinson, and those guys all fought one another. The best fought the best. There was nobody with unbeaten records trying to avoid and duck this person, and they just fought the best, and that was that. And it was what it was. Just pure, just legendary stuff. Today, we just got the manufactured fighters and promoters trying to make big sales and in terms of big shows with their cash cow, their golden boy, or that probably's got an unbeaten record, fought nobody, and they're selling out crowds around the world. They're selling out crowds. And the big networks are saying, yeah, this guy's great, this guy's fantastic. And they're saying that this is the future. But yet you and I really know that when we look at the substance of this guy, you took him back 30 years ago, he wouldn't be able to stand with those legends because those are the guys that really fought. So sort of like the hip-hop parallel of boxing there. Am I on the same wavelength, or am I on a different planet?
Yeah, you're on the same wavelength, because it all boils down to the establishment making money and keeping the money away from the people. I mean, robbing the people, basically, of what's real. It's the same. Yes, you can't equate that to the same.
So again, I'm really dumb. So like I said, I'm in a dark room, and you're just going to take me through the whole of hip hop. So I'm just going to try and educate myself a little bit more, and those fans out there that don't know about hip hop or have got a misunderstanding of what hip hop is or what it should be, the pure essence of what hip hop is. I'm coming back and asking you, the expert. So tell me, in terms of hip hop, who are the sort of people that you've connected with? Obviously, you wouldn't connect with anybody and everybody because of the way you think, and so somebody as conscious as yourself would want to connect with other conscious brothers and sisters. So who have you connected with in the hip hop world, and you could say, yeah, that's someone that is conscious and hasn't signed a contract, hasn't sold themselves out? So who would I need to look at in terms of, apart from DA Smart?
I connected with a lot of people. I connected with people that haven't signed. I connected with people that have signed.
Okay.
I've connected with Ice Cube. I've connected with KRS-One. Ice Cube being one that signed. KRS-One being one that haven't signed. I've connected with a lot of underground rappers that probably not known, like Razkaz, King Son,
Name them
Rakim.
all. Name them all. Name them all, so, or as many as you know, because I now have to go and do my research, and I'm sure other fans will go and do their research and say, who's that? Who's that? What's their music like? Why not? We've got time.
Okay. Well, definitely KRS-One. Definitely Rakim. I connected, me and Chuck D, we friends. Chuck D of Public Enemy to this day.
Professor Griff?
Professor Griff is my friend. That's my brother in the struggle. Actually, he and I should be doing something new together soon. So that might be either on my album or his album. We haven't decided yet. So
wow.
So many rappers, man. MC Lyte, Queen Latifah, Erykah Badu.
Now, I know there's two names you mentioned there, Queen Latifah and Erykah Badu. Now, talk to me about Erykah Badu first. She's depicted as a very controversial character, but the media do what they do. Tell me more about Erykah Badu.
Well, Erykah is like one of them artists that signed, neo-soul artists that definitely got the message of truth in her, with her, the spirit of truth. She want to tell the people the truth, but based on her platform, she can't be raw with the truth. She have to be very smart about how she tell the truth, because she is under contract, and I'm sure she have a lifestyle that she has to live or she's used to living, and she can't jeopardize her position uh, all the time. But she's still doing her job. She putting medicine in the dog food. She letting people know what's up the best way she could. Me, I would be more raw and direct with it. But, sister is trying to raise people consciousness with her platform and where she is. So I have nothing but love for that sister. I love Erykah Badu. She's a hip hopper to me, even though she sings, she's hip hop. She represented because she rapped too. She started off as a rapper, but she got known more for her voice, for singing. But she's an MC.
Right.
And if
Wow.
you ever meet Erykah and ask her one day, she'll bust something for you. Hold on one second. I don't know why my TV just started playing for no reason. I think it's a ghost in here. All right. But yeah, Erykah is beautiful. Like Latifah is beautiful. Like she was one of them 80s rappers that came up in a time when it was pro-black. That's where she get her name, Queen Latifah. She was pro-black. She used to only make songs about the upliftment of the woman, unity of our race, things of that nature. And, now that she's crossed over and she's with Revlon or whoever she's with these beauty products, you don't hear that type of stuff from Latifah no more. You don't hear that type of music. It's because she got a different contract and they expect something different from her. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to keep her status in the world, So, it's walking a tightrope to be up in the places that they're at and to be down with us. You know what I mean? It's very hard to do. It's very difficult.
So how do those conversations go when you're talking with someone who's in a contract and you're free to be whom you want to be, and you can express yourself and say, look, man, why you got yourself in that hellish contract? And your brother turns around and says to you, man, but this is the way I got to pay my bills. So I got to do what I got to do. How does that go?
Well, you already know why. You already know why. You can see why they do what they do. But what you don't understand is why didn't they stay away from that? And I guess being an artist, I know why they did it too. I know why they didn't hold back, because I was offered millions of dollars, lots of money. Being a person that came from nothing, it's very difficult to turn down a lot of nothing. It's very hard being a person that look up to people that earn $20,000 a year. Then you standing in front of a table full of lawyers telling you they can give you $1.5 million if you sign this contract and do what you love to do, which is make music. But the only difference is you're going to have to make the music that they agree to. Now, that's hard to say no to. I think I could be a multimillionaire if I was out somewhere dancing and talking about things that don't matter to my neighborhood or to my people. I could have those contracts. I could be all on their TVs, but I decided that ain't what I wanted to do.
Well, you know what I'm going to ask you, don't you?
No.
Why? Why did D.A. Smart? Why did D.A. Smart not sign the contract? And there must have been something within you, a knowledge, a truth, a wisdom, an understanding before you signed the contract. Because where it seems the other artists may have lacked that knowledge and, as you say, sold their soul off to the devil, as the expression is, you didn't. How comes you didn't? Where did you get your knowledge from to be so, let's say, guided or wiser and seen the light to the situation?
Well, my mother, always told me, never agree to nothing that don't sit right with you. And if it means compromising yourself, definitely don't agree. And with that teaching coming up as a little boy and standing up on my own 2 feet, also you can add in the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that just gave testament to the teachings of my mother, to stand up for what you believe, never compromise your principles for money. And I saw it. I mean, from those teachers that I had when I was in those meetings, I saw what they were trying to do. I just saw it. I said, wow, they want to sign me. You signed me. You only saw me because I was pro-black. You only met me or heard of me because I was pro-black. I was rapping about something concerning my people. And now that you want to sign me because people like me, you want to sign me and change the way I rap. I'm nobody's fool. I may not have been born yesterday, but I'm nobody's fool. And, I just saw through the scheme. I knew it was a trick. I knew it was a plan to use me, and I wasn't going to be a part of that. It was just in me not to be a slave to nobody. I ain't into no slave-master relationship in any way, form, or fashion. And what they put before me was slave-master relationship, especially when they was telling me that they're going to control my image, my likeness, my name, anything that I write or produce that they release, they own for life. And in order for them to release it, they have to approve of it. And I was signed with RCA Records. I had gave them EP, which is like 6 songs. They signed me to an album deal, but I gave them an EP, and the music that I gave them, they was already having a problem with, saying it was too abrasive to some of the people that work in the record company. I'm like, why did you come to sign me then? Because I was abrasive before you signed me. I was saying this before you met me. So why you want to sign me and now you want to change what I'm about? So what they did, I didn't sign the devil's contract. What it was is I had, what is the brother's name? He's the minister lawyer right now. What was his name? Attorney. Oh man, I can't believe I can't recall this brother's name.
It'll come back to you while you're talking.
Yeah, but he was my attorney, and he got me every demand that I asked for. Anything that I asked for, we discussed it. He told me he was a Muslim, so he knew already that this ain't gonna be no master-slave relationship, and so did I. So as we discussed things, and he told me what he wanted to strike, and I agreed, and we went forward with that. They gave me everything that I wanted, which I thought was ironic because record companies before didn't do that. And I was approached by many, Motown, Sony, a lot of them, Columbia. And all of them, I put strikes on their contract and they just didn't sign me. But RCA signed me anyway. They gave me everything I want, but they promised me nothing. They didn't promise me that they'll put money behind my project, which they didn't do. They shelved me for 4 years. They never put my project out because they didn't agree on it. They didn't agree. They didn't want me to put out a song called Stand Up and Be Counted to black people with James Brown in the background saying, stand up, baby. Let me see where you're coming from. They didn't want to promote that. So they shelved me for 4 years. They had no intentions of releasing any of my music. So it was like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. They got me. They shut me up because I'm signed on the contract. I can't do nothing with nobody else. They got me quiet and they shelved my music. So it was a plan for them to keep me locked down. And that's what they were doing with a lot of artists that were not selling out, so to speak. They would sign them and shelf them. That was another way that they was going about shutting up artists that would wield influence in a way that they didn't desire. So the reason I didn't sell out, because I'm no sellout. Public Enemy told me that if you sell out, you got to get the hell out. See, these are hip hoppers that was training me before I even became a hip hopper enough where they even wanted to sign me. And this was ingrained in me and in my soul. And from what my mother taught me and what the minister taught me, it wasn't no sellout in me, man. I couldn't do it. I never can, never will. And I'm still broke, starving, and game begging, and still won't sign a contract like that. It's just not in me to do it. It's who I am.
Wow, it's an admirable thing. Now, I'm going to go and touch back on a few things, because a lot you've mentioned. You mentioned meetings. Were you always a Muslim, or did you make the choice, the transition to become a Muslim?
I became a Muslim when I became, like, how old was I? 18 years old. I started seeking the truth.
What made you do that?
I was tired of going to Sunday school with my grandmother. I was tired of going to church every Sunday. I didn't get no fulfillment of God from there. There was a lot of questions left unanswered. It didn't give me a full understanding of what I call myself believing in. So I was seeking a truth. I had Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on my door. Other people would avoid them. I would ask them to come in, and I would ask them questions. And none of them could give me an answer that satisfied my thirst. So I was seeking the truth, and I ran into another rapper who had been to the mosque, who was not all the way in Islam, but he was a rapper, and he started telling me things that he learned from the nation. And to me, when I heard what he said, it was everything I was looking for. It was the truth. It was what I was seeking. It was the answers to all of my questions. Any question that I had when I posed to a member in the nation or a minister from the nation or somebody in the nation that knew the answer to my question, it answered it fully. It wasn't a "you just gotta have faith" answer. It was a full and complete answer, and it satisfied my curiosity.
And your thirst for...
Yes, and my thirst for knowledge. So I knew from that point that I found what I was looking for, and I need not search any further.
There's a song, isn't there, called I've found what I'm looking for. Who sung the song? I don't know, but there's a song like that goes along those lines. And so what you were looking for, can you describe to me what you were looking for? Because people say, I know you do interviews and it's corny almost. People say, yeah, well, I found what I was looking for. I converted, and, you see a lot of people that make these conversions. And they make these conversions, and I found what I'm looking for. I say, what exactly were you looking for? Oh, I found God, man. I found God. He's like, oh, it's just another one. But on Bayloric TV, we want to know why, what it was that made you. What was it? What was the thing that made you go, this is good? Like, when you have soup and it's got onions and it's got, I don't know, you can taste. You know what you taste like. Them onions taste good, or those carrots taste good, or the tomato's great, and it's all, you know what, it's a bit too spicy for me. What was it? What was it that you tasted that was so good? Let me know. Tell me.
Wow.
I'm rapping, eh?
Yeah, you rap. Well, you know what? When you're on a quest for something, you hungry for something. You hungry for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And that's what I was hungry for. I was hungry for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I wanted to know why I was and where did I come from and what is my purpose.
And by asking those questions, you got answers.
Man, by asking those questions, I got answers to those questions and all of the other questions that I had that I couldn't even formulate in words to ask questions.
So, let me take you back to that church-going, have-faith individual. And let me put that contract in front of your face. What would you have done?
Wow.
Because you were hungry. You were looking for something. Now, many people don't know what they're looking for, so they fill the void with drugs, women, boozing, gambling, and all sorts of other vices. Religion. So, not spirituality, because we know religion is, one thing, and spirituality is something totally different.
Right.
And so, when you want to fill that void, that contract, in theory, could have been that void. I'm just dropping some lyrics to you now.
I can't understand from a mind of a person that have faith in things that don't make sense. Like, for instance, when I was going to the church,
Mm-hmm.
and I was being taught that God created everyone from Adam and Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And they was in a garden.
Mm-hmm.
Then Adam and Eve had Cain and Abel.
Mm-hmm.
And they went outside the garden, found wives. My question in Sunday school was, how did they find wives if the only people on the planet was Adam and Eve?
That's a pretty valid question. And what was the answer you were getting?
Brother, I don't think I got a clear answer from any Christian ever. Ever. A lot of Christians didn't have the answer. I think they went on a belief system, a faith system, without questioning God. If God is the all-knowing and we can't question him, that don't make sense to me. These are things that didn't make sense to me. These are things that left me hungry. If God is a spirit, then why do he have anything to do with human beings? If God is a spirit, then how did Adam hear his footsteps walking in the garden in the cool of the day? If God is a spirit, how can he speak with no vocal cords? These type of things I used to ask, and Christians didn't have the answers. They would say, God is a spirit, and you got to have faith that God can do anything that he wants to do.
Yes. And when you're hungry, and it can make you very frustrated, almost to the
Right.
point where you can get if you don't know how to handle that frustration, get you aggressive and angry.
Exactly.
And bitter and resentful.
It'll make you give up on religion. It'll make you think everybody that believe in God is fools or crazy. That's what I was thinking. Like, all these people crazy. They believe in this invisible person that they talk to, and nobody ever talked back to them. They believe he talked back to them. And I know this man or this spirit ain't saying nothing. It wasn't reality. It wasn't real enough. It wasn't connected to me. I couldn't connect with that. It didn't make sense. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make sense. Okay? Now, when I heard the minister teach that God is a man.
The minister? You have to educate me, because I'm trying to educate in terms of for the fans, because fans will say minister? Minister who?
Minister Farrakhan. When I heard Minister
Okay.
Farrakhan
All right. Okay.
in 1991 at the Christ Universal Temple, he did a lecture called "Who is God?"
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it was a whole truth about what he was saying. He answered all of my questions. He answered the scientific side of it. The people that say matter, it's a scientific thing. That spirit came because of science. People that don't believe in God. He answered that when he was talking about how matter, how darkness, God created himself out of darkness. And in the darkness, there was nothing, but in nothing is matter. Matter is the substance of nothing. And he was talking about how electricity is the most mysterious force known to man. No one knows the origin of electricity. And whatever happened in darkness between electricity and matter sparked the first cell of life.
Wow. Wow.
And God created, and in that cell of life was intellect. An intellect that wanted to reproduce itself and to survive. That's what it wanted to do. It wanted to survive. So it reproduced itself, and every cell and every human being and every cell that you seen hereafter always do what? Reproduce itself. So God created himself in triple darkness, and he created everything to create after his own likeness. So people are looking for the answer of the beginning of how God began, and it's under our nose in the womb of our women. That's the secret. That's why in Egypt she was the ankh, or the key to life, because she got the secret of God in her, creating himself in triple darkness. The womb, triple darkness. What do you get? Seed germinating in darkness. A clot forms into an embryo, and an embryo forms into a fetus, and then a fetus into a baby. Then it grows to be a man, to do great things like heal the blind, cause the deaf to hear, the lame to speak, the cripple to walk. Can't nobody do that but God. And it made sense to me. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to me that energy is spirit and electricity is mysterious and no one knows its origin. It makes sense to me that God created after his own being. So therefore I am in the image and likeness of God.
So
we are in the image and likeness of God.
So then in that case, then you could be healing whomever's listening to this message right now. You could be moving darkness and bringing light to them, blindness, deaf being able to hear, and there you go. I'm not having to look for somebody out there to do it, but right in front of their own noses, that they themselves have the power to be.
That's it. We have that power. And I only got this knowledge through the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I only got this knowledge through listening to Minister Louis Farrakhan. And this is the only knowledge that I have ever heard throughout my sojourn in America and me seeking the truth that made sense to me. That wasn't something I had to just have faith in and believe without the answers, but something I can actually understand and draw the line from A, B, C, all the way to Z.
Let me ask you a question, brother. Why is it there are so many churches with so many brothers and sisters in there singing hallelujah every Sunday, but yet they lack this sort of knowledge?
Well, it's a lot of reasons that happen. I was talking to somebody in Chicago the other day, and she was talking about how bad her life has gotten, and that she's going to start going to church because of it. I was talking to a young man over Facebook, and he's a brother I grew up with in Robert Taylor, and he was talking about so many people dying in Chicago. So many of his family has passed, his friends have passed, that he is considering doing drugs, like heavy drugs, to escape, to get away, from personal pain.
Mm.
And I think in our communities, since we were so-called freed slaves, we never had any psychiatrists deal with our people. We never had any doctors come in and straighten out what has happened to the black man in America. We have never had no type of help in that manner. And the only help we have is the black church. The only help that has been there is the black church, the black woman, and the black church. That's been our release. That's where we go to get strength, to get a sense of family. That's where we went all of these years to get some type of guidance in our sojourn in America, because it wasn't every day we had Malcolm X. It wasn't every day we had Farrakhan or the Honorable Elijah Muhammad or somebody that told us the truth. We had the church.
Well, you were fortunate because, or some people may say unfortunate, you were fortunate to have Malcolm X, the Minister Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad. You were fortunate to have these people around in America. What did people have in the UK, the United Kingdom, in England?
Wow. You know what, man? You know what?
Martin Luther King. I mean, President Obama. I mean, regardless of what people think, you still got it. I mean, we could keep going. Michael Jordan. I mean,
my God.
But you see, you know the inside track. That's the thing. You know the inside track. And it takes you to go on a journey to be able to understand these things. And unfortunately, the media dominates what a lot of people think and a lot of people hear. If the media say it, nobody thinks, let me check into that. If the media say it,
Right.
That's the gospel. So now, this conversation goes on into the point where, first of all, D.S. Smart says he's a Muslim. Muslim. And then people think, well, 9/11, Twin Towers, and all this sort of stuff because of media, without taking a step back to actually look at stuff and really delve into why. Why are certain things being demonized? Not, Muslim demonized, but yet think, well, hold on, why are these people? Why is this faith being demonized?
Right.
Even the word Islam, from where, I was looking into it, and all to do with living a peaceful life and being peaceful people.
Right.
Talk to me.
Because, well, I believe it's because anyone who serves God and God alone is a threat to a man that want to enslave him. And when you think of a Muslim, they serve Allah and Allah alone, and they not setting up no partners, no rivals, no associates besides God. And to Muslims, death is sweeter than slavery. So you can't enslave a Muslim. See, that's why when they brought us from Africa, we were Muslims. And that's why we weren't allowed to speak in our native tongue. That's why we weren't allowed to speak in our language, practice our religion, our culture, our God. And anyone found practicing Islam when the founding fathers of this country established it, they were murdered because they didn't want not even the language to come to the Western Hemisphere with us. So that was 64 years used to strip us from our homeland, which they don't talk about that 64 years. That's the $64,000 question. Have you ever heard people say that? That's the $64,000 question.
Yes, I've heard that many a time.
That's what they talking about, the unrecorded 64 years that they used to strip black people of their religion, culture, and God language, identity in order to make them slaves. So what happened in those 64 years, they ain't telling. So that's the $64 question, or the $64,000 question. So they had to break us from Islam, because if Islam was our basis of religion, we could have never been slaves. So and that's why it's been vilified today, because if Islam come in our communities today and it be our religion, they can't keep us. They can't keep us under the gun. They can't keep us as slaves, because you're a free black man once you fear God and God alone.
But okay, but how is this in terms of media, and in terms of how would you talk to a young person about your faith and how it's made an impact on your life without having to deal with the negative connotations as there are with hip hop with your faith? Because it's obviously been a great blessing to your life for you, because you're very happy, or you're content with the truth that you have within you, to the point where you weren't prepared to sell yourself out to sign record deals and record labels and be blinging.
Right.
So there was something in you more than what man could offer you.
It's my desire to see black people in a better place. I mean,
yeah, but
the young brothers ain't gonna have that today, because they don't see the same struggle we see, or that we've seen. Today, their enemy is black. Their enemy look like them. Their enemy is probably on their block. They probably can't even look past their neighborhood to see who the true enemy is. So it's very difficult to explain to them why I would turn down $1 million. They don't understand that. They can't even fathom that thought. They'd be like, "Man, nigga, you crazy as hell."
Why is there so many killings? I really want to kind of trying to lift the tempo and elevate to out of this whole killing and shooting, but at the same time I want to, because I'm sort of blind. I want to educate myself and learn more. So you're teaching me, and I want to know why this.
Sure
So, I want to know why there's so much killings and black on black crimes and why is that?
You know what, man?
I
can't.
And while I go into that,
Uh-huh.
I have to throw in the two names of Tupac Shakur and Biggie, because if I don't mention those two names, because they're like two names that, I mean, I hear the names, but I don't know much about them that much. I know Tupac had some good tracks, and you hear them, changes and a lot more, and but I don't know. I'm not a hip hop man. I can't tell you that I'm a hip hop man, because I'd be lying.
Okay.
More of a soca man, and calypso and carnival, in the Caribbean. So I don't know much about hip hop, so you're gonna have to educate me a bit more.
Okay, well, check this out. In the 90s, when it had some balance, let me say that.
Okay.
Because hip hop always was party. It wasn't all just pro-black and revolutionary. Right? Okay. Sometimes it was about the party, just releasing energy, Yeah, yo, Zulu Nation, they throw parties. So
wait. So where does Will Smith fall into all of this, by the way?
Will Smith was one of them rappers that rapped we like Will Smith. We consider Will Smith hip hop. Will Smith is a battle rapper. He could rap. Hip hop is like battle rapping, but the rap that they showed you or that they promoted to you was the parents just don't understand, and the commercial crossover Will Smith. But Will Smith also could get down and dirty and hip hopish. I mean, he's a hip hopper. He's an MC to me. I like him, but He's not a pro-black rapper. He never was. All rappers aren't. Like I used to like Ice-T. He's a gangster rapper. I liked Ice Cube. I mean, my problem today with hip hop is that you don't hear no other type of rap other than killer, killer, murder, murder, bang, bang, freaking girls, disrespecting women, and the type of rap that we hear all the time. It's saturating the airwaves. It's saturating BET. It's saturating the movie screen. You know what I mean? You don't hear no balance. You don't hear, here come the drums. No rappers that's giving some type of positivity like Tupac used to do, like saying, keep your head up, or I dedicate this one to the black woman, or things like that. They don't, songs like, they got me trapped, you can't keep a black man down. They don't got them songs like that. Now all you hear is, don't come on my block, I'm going to kill you. If you're a girl, I'm going to bend you over. I got money, so do what I say. I drink this, I smoke this, I'm popping this drug, I do that drug, and this is the life that you ought to live because this life is the shit. And if you ain't living like this, then you ain't got no life. That one, the only thing you heard in hip hop, but now that's all you get out of hip hop. So that's the problem to me in hip hop. Not that it's negative rap. It always been some negative gangster rappers in hip hop. But the problem is it ain't no balance. You don't get a choice. All you get is the negative. You don't get a choice to listen to D.A. Smart if you want to learn about your history. You don't get a choice to listen to KRS-One if you want to learn about what's happening in your neighborhood, or those type of rappers. And that creates music, fuels the idea of the neighborhood. I remember when I first started rapping and Public Enemy was popular. And I went to a Public Enemy concert. And it was black people, white people, at the Metro Theater in Chicago, all singing all the Public Enemy's lyrics. Stuff like, Farrakhan, don't tell me that you understand until you hit a man. The leader of the new school rap game. People treat me like cold rain, insane. And you had white people singing this with black people. And we were all in unison rapping these lyrics. Okay?
Wow.
Soon as Public Enemy go off stage, you have Ice-T come on. 6 a.m, police at my door. Fresh Adidas squeeze across the... Now, he ain't talking about nothing black or revolutionary. He talking about gangster stuff happening in the streets. Killing, murdering. But we still loved it. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
And we loved it because we had the balance. We had the choice. We could choose Public Enemy. We could choose Ice-T. We could choose Dougie Fresh, who's just a dancing guy and beatboxing. He's just a fun party guy.
Grandmaster Flash, where was he?
Grandmaster Flash. He was Melly Mel, Grandmaster Flash. He was like a message. He had knowledge in his raps. He dropped knowledge, but he also did conscious songs like Don't Push Me, 'Cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. It make me wonder how I keep, stuff like The Message, stuff like White Line, Vision, Dreams, and Passing, going through my mind. Messages in his rap, even though they was kind of radio and crossover, they still were messages. Mm-hmm. So Grandmaster Flash is one of the legends in hip hop. He one of the people that if they die, they need to build a statue of them so we could pay homage to him. Because he paved the way for a lot of us, man. He definitely helped me with how I write my raps because of how he write his raps.
Did you ever get to meet him?
Yes, I met him when I went to the 21st Zulu anniversary. I was in a contest down there and I won over like 70 other rappers.
Wow.
I won first place, and so I got to meet a lot of people. Jam Master Jay, Run DMC, Africa Bambaataa, who is the star, who started the Zulu Nation.
Okay.
I met a lot of people when I was down there at the Zulu anniversary. So yeah, but my problem is that this rap that they promote today is in our neighborhood. It's on our radios. It's on our iPods. It's in our ear all the time.
How does that
And
how does that influence an individual? How does that affect a person's soul? Because what you eat is what you are, right?
Exactly. So it's like if the black neighborhood identify with hip hop as a part of themselves, then everything they see on TV they mimic. If a hip hopper drinking St. Ives, that's what everybody drinking in the hood. If he drinking Ciroc, that's what everybody drinking in the hood. If he wearing his pants low, then that's what everybody wearing in the hood. If he like Adidas and he made a song about Air Force Ones, then that's what everybody wearing in the hood. You know what I'm saying? They like the trendsetters for our people.
Okay.
So if the trendsetters are being controlled by somebody that don't have our people in their best interest, there you have a heightening violence, a heightening in disrespect of the women, a height in killings, murders, gun sales, drug deals, alcoholism. That's where you get it from, man, because it's influencing our community in a great and detrimental way.
Okay. Let me throw this to you. Jay-Z, married to the beautiful Beyonce.
Mm-hmm.
A very, very powerful man, it seems. It seems. Where does he fit in all of this?
What is who?
Jay-Z.
What is he what?
Where does he fit in all of this? In the whole...
Where does he fit in all this?
Yeah.
Jay-Z come from he come from New York. He made a stake for himself coming up in New York. As a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
He put work down. He really paved a way for himself. And he willed influence over our people because he's so well known in every community. Actually, Jay-Z is almost like the one everybody want to be like because he's the richest. He got more money than anybody. He got the finest woman. And he got some cold raps too. He got some nice songs, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z a part of that. He talk about that gangster life. He talk about some real issues too.
Mm-hmm.
But he talk about that gangster life. He talk about the street life in New York from his perspective. He's part of the problem. Part of the problem, man.
But someone would
show ain't part of the solution.
Okay, let me throw it to you this way. Some would say, "Oh man, that DA Smart is just hating because Jay-Z is so popular. Look at what Jay-Z's got. He's got a beautiful woman. He's got a fantastic rapper. He's got so much power and control. He's the man for hip hop. DA Smart's just hating." What would be your response to that? And you know that's a typical thing that comes out of a person's mouth. So I'm sort of playing. I don't like the word devil's advocate. I'm just
right.
Sort of, you know.
The only thing I could be hating on Jay-Z about is that he's with Beyonce.
Well,
he got it before I did. But you know what? Not even that. And that's just me being facetious.
Yes.
You know. No, I'm not hating on Jay-Z. I love hip hop, and I love the movement of hip hop.
Right.
And to me, when people are being paid and claim that they represent hip hop and they represent it in the wrong manner, then I have to speak on that because I'm hip hop. I represent hip hop. And when people represent it in the wrong way, they misrepresent me. So naturally, since this is a part of me, I'm gonna stand up against those that's against what I'm a part of. And of course, like the American government would say, whether they foreign or domestic, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna stand up against it. And Jay-Z, he cool. I like Jay-Z actually. I don't hate on Jay-Z. I like him, but he ain't giving no solution. He's a good beacon for people, I guess you could say, like Barack is a good beacon for black people. Okay, you got a so-called black president, and you got a rapper who's kicking it with the president, and he got businesses, and he's part owner of an NBA team. But is that all you aspire to be? Rub shoulders with the enemy? Is that all you aspire to be? Shaking hands with the enemies, living with the enemy, sitting next to the enemy? Is that all we aspire to be? If that's all we aspire to be, then we're never going to be free. The masses of our poor are still going to be languishing in poverty, being used and abused by the oppressors. If that's our destination, is to be like Jay-Z, if that's all we want to do for anything, I'd rather be like DA, because DA is independent. He want to do something on his own, where he can have his own authority to do what he wants to and don't have to answer to nobody, whereas Jay-Z have a boss for real.
Okay. So, when do you become a problem? When does DA Smart become a problem? When does DA Smart become a problem?
DA Smart becomes a problem when he on their TV, when he in their child's iPod, on their iPad, when they looking at DA's video, when they listening to DA's music. And music is universal; it can go anywhere. DA's a problem if he got $1 million budget to promote what he talks about on every media platform that's possible. That's when DA becomes a problem. But long as DA's broke, starving, and don't have these funds to do that, he's not a problem.
So if you had 3 points, you had 3 wishes for hip hop, and you only had 3 wishes or 3 moves to bring hip hop back to the way it was back in the 80s or in the 70s, whenever it was, what would you do? 3 points.
To bring hip hop back?
Yeah. That would be
that's a good question, because I never thought about that. 3 things I would do to make hip hop hip hop.
That would be like for my boxing. 3 things to bring boxing back to what it was back in the day. Well, first of all, first thing I'd take all the belts away. 1 champion. 2, I'd do 15 rounds. And 3, all the champions must fight against all number 1 contenders. So everyone must get in line and defend regularly. So you will fight more regularly than once a year. So that's 3 ways. That's 3 already of cleaning up boxing and bringing it back to the old days. Of course,
okay.
I'm not taking the punches on the chin, and it's not coming out of my pocket, so I can say what the hell I want. But at the end of the day, we're going to have alphabet champions and all the rest of it. So to hell with me. So
okay. So based on hearing what you just said, you just fired me up with 3 things I would do.
Okay.
Number 1, I will get rid of all of the record execs that's down with the current plan of today to destroy the black neighborhood with this whack music. I will get rid of all of them and replace them with real hip hop artists.
So whack music. So whack music would be out.
It will be out. You have to be a real MC in order to be signed to a record
All right.
label.
Well, then, when you say whack music, give me 3 artists. Sorry.
3 artists that's whack.
Yeah.
Chief Keef, whack. Who else is out? What's that other dude that's dressing up like what's his name? I don't even know these dudes. These new dudes, they so whack. Okay, so I'm gonna go back in the days and show you somebody that was whack. Biz Markie, he was whack. But I like Biz Markie, but he was whack. He wasn't no dope rapper. Today, another rapper that's whack.
Where does Vanilla Ice go?
Oh my God, he don't go nowhere, man.
Whack.
Whack. He whack.
MC Hammer.
MC Hammer is whack, but I like MC Hammer. I like MC Hammer though.
Oh, here comes the hammer.
Yeah. You know why I like Hammer?
Why?
Because that's what I was telling you about variety. When you come to hip hop, you get a lot of things in hip hop. Dancing, that's a part of hip hop. Entertainment, that's a part of hip hop. Just like I said, I like the Fresh Prince, that clean, squeaky, I'm a good guy thing. We got that in the neighborhoods. That's a part of hip hop. That's why I like NWA. We do got gangsters in our hood. That's a part of hip hop. My problem would be, and the second thing I would change is hip hop will have a variety. You will not just have one type of hip hop playing on every radio station. All of them talking about who they gonna kill, how much they gonna drink, how many girls they gonna have sex with, and how many guns they got. No, that's not gonna be the order of the day. You're gonna have maybe very little of that, but you're gonna have more songs uplifting black women. You're gonna have more songs with the solutions to the problems in our neighborhood. You're gonna have more songs that's talking about real things that people can identify with. That's the second thing I would do in hip hop. The third thing I would do in hip hop to change hip hop, it wouldn't be about how much money you get. It'd be about how many people respect you. Not about how much money you got, about how much respect you got. Yeah?
That'd be interesting.
They're my three things.
Now, I'm talking to DA Smart, Bayloric TV. There's two more things. I would be foolish not to ask you. Who's been, for somebody who didn't really know DA Smart, what would have been the biggest well-known rapper you've collaborated with?
Ice Cube, Ice-T.
So if after watching I listened to this interview, they were to Google your name and go to YouTube, they could see you and Ice Cube, or are you and Ice-T?
Yeah, they can go see. It's a song we collaborated on together.
Okay.
It's called Where You At, Y'all. It was a song that we did for the Million Man March in 1995.
Wow.
Where we all came together at the table of Minister Louis Farrakhan and decided to make this record.
Million Man March, what's that?
The Million Man March was a call that was given by Minister Louis Farrakhan in 1995 for all black men to come to Washington, D.C. to shoulder the responsibility in our community, to shoulder the responsibility to what's happening to our teenagers, what's happening to our women, what's happening in our community with our young boys. That was the Million Man March all about. That's what the Million Man March was all about, us coming together to shoulder responsibility in our community. And that happened in 1995, October 16th, on the Washington lawn.
So what inspired Minister Farrakhan to do such a thing?
Well, according to Minister Farrakhan, it was the killings that were being reported in every black neighborhood. So he went on a tour, a Stop the Killing tour. And on his Stop the Killing tour, he came up with the idea to have a Million Man March, to talk to the men in the neighborhood, because we know if the men stood up in the neighborhood and been responsible men, then the children will have to follow.
Wow, it's a very honourable thing Minister Farrakhan has done. Very honourable. And since then, I mean, we're in 2013. What's happened since?
Wow. Minister Farrakhan been working, still tirelessly. Mm-hmm. But, you know, the devil been working too. Overnight, discrediting Minister Farrakhan for his Million Man March, saying that he didn't have a million men at the lawn, that he had 100,000. Doing that in the media, that the people watch, that the people believe. So due to the fact that Minister Farrakhan is not in control of the media that bombards our people every day, I think the people were lulled to sleep believing what the media has told them, that it was an unsuccessful march. Didn't none come of it. See, but what they didn't tell you was there were no murders for 6 months. in no black neighborhood after the Million Man March. The murder rate went down, the robbery rate, the more people went to churches, mosques. The attendance swelled after the Million Man March. In community groups, more black people were adopting black children from foster homes after the Million Man March. They didn't tell none of the positive things. They only told the negative things. So now in 2012, the Million Man March is only alive in those that still possess the spirit of the Million Man March. But in the communities, it's not seen.
Wow, that's a sad thing.
Yes, it is. Actually, it's like it's more death now. It's like the powers that be went to work to make sure that don't happen. Because like I was reading the newspaper probably about 6 months ago, and they was talking about they sent 100 new field officers into Chicago to work amongst the gangs in Chicago. And the killing is getting worse. I think it was 5 years before that when Minister Farrakhan said they sent 1,000 federal agents in Chicago to work amongst the gangs in Chicago.
Wow.
And ever since they got rid of some of the leaders of the gangs in Chicago, the killings in Chicago has escalated tremendously. And it's like the Wild Wild West now. So to be honest with you, brother, I'm not sure if it's just us in Chicago killing each other for no apparent reason at all, because I grew up in Robert Taylor Homes. I grew up in probably the biggest and worst ghetto in Chicago. And growing up in the projects, I seen how the gangs work. I seen why they do what they do, when they do what they do, what purpose that they do what they do. And I seen a lot of murders coming up, but I know why people got murdered. You understand what I'm saying? Even if it was over for something frivolous, I still knew the reason why. The way the murders happening today in Chicago, it just don't seem like it's just us making it happen. You understand what I'm saying? It don't seem like it's just us, because like
Not
I had a
by
friend.
natural causes, you're saying. You're saying
Right.
by other hands getting involved.
Exactly. It's, you know, the way of the ghetto got a certain formula how it works.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And if people get out of the way, or if people cross that line, then certain things will happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It never got to the point in Robert Taylor, and people cross the line all the time. You know, you in the projects, 16 flight highs with 16 flight stories of people with 12 units on each flight. That's a crowded situation. And then you had about 30 buildings in a row, just like that. That's a lot of people condensed in one place. And it still wasn't as much murdering going on as it is today, now that they done move black people out of the inner cities and put them in the suburbs. Now it seems like it's more murders. It don't make sense. So to me, it's a hidden hand behind it. We haven't figured out what the angle is and how they doing this, but I think it got something to do with those agents coming working amongst the gangs. Those agents were young. Those agents looked like gangs. Some of them work undercover as gangs. You know how they infiltrate organizations and guide those organizations to their benefit. That's what they doing on the streets. This is what the CIA did in Iraq. This is what the CIA did in all of the foreign countries that they wanted to take down the enemy. They infiltrated. They worked in among. They put agents in among the people, organizations, got information, infiltrated it, and shut it down. And that's what they're doing, to my belief, in Chicago. They doing the same thing. They know it ain't no leaders to the gangs. They know the gangs now don't follow no law, no literature, and they don't have no repercussions as doing anything wrong in the gang. You know, back in the days when I was growing up, you ain't go to school, you got whooped. You didn't obey an adult, you got whooped. The gangs was to protect the community, not to destroy the community, but to protect it. But now it's just, you look at me wrong, I'm going to shoot you. You walk down my block, I don't know you, I'm going to shoot you. You park in this gas station, I don't know you, I'm going to start shooting. I mean, you know, along with the gangs, with the guns that they giving the gangs, with the drugs that they giving the gangs, it's a bigger conspiracy than I can even explain, man.
So these shootings that are going on across America, there are people that tell me, they say to me, one of the conspiracy theories is that they get these people that do these crazy shootings just to encourage the government to get involved to stop people from using guns altogether, so then nobody can defend themselves, so only the government have got weapons, and then the civilians have got no weapons whatsoever to defend themselves. So no guns, and then only the government have got the guns. I don't know how true that is, you know.
So how do you get that message over? Get a lot of black people killing black people? No, that wouldn't be the issue. Now, when black people start killing everybody, now it's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And when the government have a plan in place, just in case its citizens revolt like they did in Egypt, just in case, if they try it, what we gonna do? What's gonna be our contingency plan? Say it's over 300 million guns in North America right now. In order to get an assault rifle, you gotta wait 6 months. Since Barack won his second election, they done bought up so many guns that now, in order to get an assault rifle, you gotta be on the list for 6 months. So if it's 300 million guns in America, that's a gun for every citizen. Everybody got weapons. I watched Django. You seen that movie?
My wife has seen it. I haven't seen it yet. She tells me she enjoyed it. So it's a movie
well, brother, this is the first time ever in the history of movie making that a black man was a slave, was made a free slave to hunt white people and kill them for money. He saved the day, saved the woman, his black woman. He did all of this to save his black woman. He saved his black woman and the day, and he didn't die.
Oh, wow.
And he killed a lot of white people in this movie.
Whoops.
Hey, man.
So how did that go down in America?
Hey, like Minister Farrakhan say, man, they got people that study the social thinking of the country, that study how people think. And if this happened, what would people think about it? They got people that study that. And they got people that knows what to put out there in order to cause a certain condition or a certain way of thinking.
But surely the greatest commandment of all would be just to love, right?
Yeah.
And
actually, it would be to do unto others
as you wouldn't like done unto yourself.
You would have others do unto you. That would be the greatest of all.
Yes.
But, oh, man. I don't even know why they do what they do, why they want to kill, why they want to murder, why they want people to die. I don't know why. You know, the only thing I could say is just that they devils. They wicked people by nature. And that's in their nature to see death and destruction. And that's all their aim is. And even if they living in a lap of luxury, they still looking for death and destruction of the black man in particular. And I think that's because of what they've done to the black man. You know, like if you hit somebody and they weren't looking, you stole on them. You get away with it. But if that person is near you or around you, you always got your eye on them because you know what you've done to them. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you always,
Yeah.
wondering when is he going to try to get me back for hitting him in his eye. And I think that's white people fear. I think they always going to be afraid, wondering if black people ever going to rise up against them or rise up and attach themselves onto a nation or enemy that's against this nation and come against them. I think that's they fear. Because they have that fear, they do everything in their power to keep our numbers down or to keep us concentrating on BS.
So when you say white people, do you mean all white people, or do you mean specifically those with the intention of evil?
Well, all white people don't have the power to do this. So, what are you saying? When I say devil?
No, I'm not. When you say devil, when you say white people, are you talking?
When I say
about,
white people, I'm talking about the people. Yeah, I'm talking about the people that are in power to carry this thing out. I'm talking about people that push the buttons, the media buttons, that got control over legislation.
Because before you know it, video goes out and everyone's saying DA Smart hates white people, and it's very quickly to prevent or to because everything can be twisted and turned and
right.
It happens. It happens. But Bayloric TV is about, as I said, getting the truth out. And so the whole point of this whole conversation is to get the truth out of DA Smart's mouth and to ensure that the message is true and wholesome, and to also ensure that it cannot be manipulated and turned around. So when you say white people, it's a broad statement, meaning anybody who's got white skin is a devil. But what you're trying to say basically is those people that have the power,
right? The people that have the power
to manipulate and to be able to cause suppression and inflict pain on others. Those
right to use their power in the media to get the wrong message out about us and what we're trying to do, to use their power in the media to make people think that we are only animals and buffoons and only good for death and destruction, and to paint that type of picture of us. When they bring in the armed forces or the National Guard to kill us, won't nobody cry out against it, because they'll be just like the people in the time of Jesus was, when at first they were saying, praise him, Hosanna in the highest. But when the propagandists went out against Jesus, them same people were saying, crucify him, kill him. So those people is who I'm talking about, the people with the power to change people outlook on certain people, because they devils.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now, DA Smart, tell me about your career in 2013. What's DA Smart up to at the moment?
Wow. Well, I'm about to press the pedal on the gas in 2013.
You got enough petrol in the car?
Yeah.
You got enough money to pay for the petrol?
I'm about to press the pedal to the metal. DA Smart is coming out with a new album.
All right.
The album is called 12.
Okay.
It's 12 inches to a ruler. 12 months in a year. And I'm the new ruler. 12 inches to a ruler, and I'm the new ruler. I am the 12.
Can you give Bayloric exclusive? Can you drop a few lyrics for us?
Ooh, I don't have any that I know about hard because I'm writing the album as we speak.
Ah, now that would be really exclusive. So,
Right.
so how about, I tell you what, how about before we end this interview, because it would just be absolutely criminal not to get you to do some sort of a rap, even a rap that you've done of a previous song, of you've
Okay.
done previously, or something you can collaborate for what we've talked about tonight. And it's been just great talking to you. But how can I talk to the legend of a rapper and not get them to rap something that's got something to do with Bayloric?
Right.
Mentions everybody we've talked about tonight and just brings it in and ends it with such an elevated and positive message.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna do something um, that I'm synonymous with, and that's freestyle or brainstorm, and that's coming off the top of my head with something.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
And it goes a little something like this. I'm gonna get a little snap so we can have a rhythm.
Okay.
I'm sitting on Skype this very night, doing it on the Skype phone, talking to Ingram Jones. It's on for Laura TV. This is D from Chi-Town City. We talked about the messages in the music, the way that they use it, the way that they abuse it, and the reason that all of y'all choose it. Make sure y'all get the message and don't lose it, because I'm here and you know that I'm there. I'm like Savoir Fair. I'm almost everywhere. Now listen close to the songs that I say in my rap or the words in my rap, because I'm about to snap. And this is the truth. You know how it be with James Ingram on I forgot the name of it.
Bayloric TV.
Bayloric TV.
See, look at that! Look at that! Look at that! Exclusive! Exclusive! Thank you
And
so
you know
much,
this
Smart.
straight up from Chi-Town.
I really appreciate that so much, GS Smart. That is amazing stuff. I tell you, also, before I end, I always do this. I like to know how people can get in contact with you, your YouTube, your Facebook, your Twitter. Fire it all off to me, man. Fire it all off to me.
Okay, you can hit me on Twitter at DASmart12. You can hit me on YouTube at YouTube/DASmart. You can hit me on my email at DASmart505@gmail.com. You can hit me on Facebook at Facebook/DASmart. Get at DASmart, man. Reverb Nation, Reverb Nation/DASmart. Talk to DASmart, check them out. I'm sure you're going to love what you see. Yeah?
DA Smart, thank you so much for talking to Bayloric TV. It has been a very interesting and educational interview, an in-depth interview, and once again, a real deep interview. Bayloric TV asking the questions that you really want the answers to. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, that was my interview with DA Smart. I'm going to take this opportunity to thank DA Smart for an absolutely brilliant interview, because I learned so much. I came away from that interview learning so much more about the hip-hop world and how the hip-hop world and the industry work. It cleared up a lot of grey area for me about the hip-hop world, which gets a lot of negative press. And D.A. Smart is a man that really has to be respected, because he has taken the stance to, be his own boss, do his own thing, regardless of the 7 or 8 figure numbers that are being put in front of his face. He is determined not to let money be his god. Instead, he's going to continue doing what he does on his terms, without anybody telling him how to do what he does. So you've got to give him all respect and well for that. And the man D.A. Smart is a great role model for young people in the communities who may be thinking to just get out there and earn money and not really think about their consciousness or think about really where they're going with their lives. Just trying to make money is great, but when you can't control what you do, and you can't have ownership on the work that you do, wow, pretty deep stuff. So a lot of respect for DA Smart and the way he's done things. Of course, you know, he's a great man, a real champion. That comes to the end of another interview with Bayloric TV. Hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, we ask the questions, you must want the answers too. This is Bayloric TV. I'm Ingram Jones, and I'm out. Take care.